Before I begin, I want to personally thank everyone who has made this event possible. I want to thank the panelists, Julia, Shariah, and Michael, and our moderator, Dr. Stephanie Edwards, and all of our sponsors, Eastern Bake Foundation, Boston University School of Theology, and the Boston Theological Interreligious Consortium. I also want to thank our volunteers, and most importantly, you, the audience. We are in competition with AAR, so a few people are either running late from that or maybe attending something else. Regardless, you came, and I just want to say thank you for that. So let's begin. We are living in a time when care for athletes, coaches, and support staff must go beyond just the body and mind. It must include care for the soul, the spirit, and the inner self, or what Howard Thurman might call the sound of the genuine. So what is a chaplain? I've learned from Dr. Shelley Rambo, my former professor, scholar in the study of chaplaincy, that chaplains are typically trained to meet persons and communities in moments of pain and crisis. They advocate and accompany. While there is no commonly agreed upon definition of the role or responsibilities of chaplains in the United States and beyond, chaplains themselves offer a ministry of presence, one that does not try to convince or convert, but offers compassion. She goes on to say that there are 3 areas of expertise that are essential. Chaplains need to be able to facilitate practices of meaning making and to navigate multiple worldviews. They must bring different angles of vision when they assess questions of meaning and purpose. This may mean attending seminary school, completing CPE units, or other internships or theological trainings. Second, chaplains need a set of interpersonal competencies and skills in their work. Drawing on theories of human development from psychological and social sciences, chaplains meet people in crises and must be aware of the range of the human experience, often related to loss, grief, and trauma. Chaplains must show up fully to listen and to respond to the needs of others without imposition. They need to be able to build trust and embody empathy. And last, chaplains need skills to navigate systems and organizations. As spiritual caregivers, chaplains work within complex organizations that have reporting systems, bureaucratic processes, and other structures. Knowing the home languages, mission and vision statements, policies, and practices of the organization will give chaplains a clear sense of how to move and be effective within, and how to support those in different positions within it. Now that you have a foundational understanding of what a chaplain is, what are sports chaplains and why are they needed? The landscape of sports is shifting in profound ways, from identity formation and mental health awareness to growing attention to neurodiversity. The game is no longer just physical. It's deeply psychological and data-driven, driven by sponsorships and commercials, technology, and sports analytics. Athletes and coaches often find themselves the subjects of both scientific and social experiments. Meanwhile, persistent issues like gender pay, racial tension, and the struggle for inclusion across sexuality and gender expressions continue to shape the culture of sport. Add to that the weight of global and social justice concerns. It's no wonder that the inner spirit of athletes, coaches, and support staff is often torn between what is right and what is popular, or oftentimes that part of themselves is numb or ignored altogether. I know this firsthand. I spent nearly 10 years working as a certified and licensed athletic trainer in sports medicine. I always likened the work of the athletic trainer to that of the chaplain. We both serve on the sidelines, tending to their needs, their bodies, enslaved in the cycle of practice, travel, performance, rest, and recovery. Practice, performance, rest, and recovery. When injury or trauma strikes, we literally run to their side, evaluating, treating, and helping them heal. Not just so they can return to the field or court, but so they can regain a sense of wholeness and a strength to find equilibrium with what they do and who they are, helping them to connect to their authentic self. This is essential work. The care offered by an athletic trainer reaches far beyond the physical body. During my years as a Division I college athletic trainer, I was often the first to know when a student faced an unplanned pregnancy, when someone was quietly battling depression and considering suicide. I spoke with police officers when a student was involved in domestic violence. I witnessed students struggle with eating disorders, drug and alcohol addiction, and I personally experienced racist taunting where one school, as our team bus drove into the parking lot, had lynched our team's mascot from trees. And I faced the unexpected deaths of a student basketball manager, a football coach, and a star gymnast, leading many to ask the question, why, what now, and how do I move forward? These moments leave a mark. They shape not only the athletes, but also the coaches, the trainers, the athletic directors, and other support staff. Yet even in the midst of heartbreak and heaviness, I have seen hope. And that hope is why the role of the sports chaplain is so vital. Because chaplains hold space for the spirit when the game, and sometimes life itself, feels like a loss instead of a win. Before I entered seminary, I began volunteering with a sports ministry, hoping to offer a different kind of care, a kind that spoke to the spirit as well as the body. Later during my seminary studies, I returned to that same organization as an intern, eager to deepen the work of spiritual care. But as I became more deeply involved, I began to notice troubling patterns. The organization resisted incorporating the cultural traditions and practices of Black and brown students. Conversations about race, gender, and sexuality were avoided altogether. And when student athletes of color expressed fear and uncertainty during the COVID-19 pandemic and about protests regarding George Floyd's murder, I was advised to simply tell them to pray and continue with the planned biblical lessons that had no relevance to the current predicament of our time. In my view, that was spiritual malpractice, which failed to honor the lived experiences and humanity of the very students we were called to serve. Out of that disappointment and out of a conviction that spiritual care must also be culturally competent and justice-minded, I left, and the Black Sports Ministry Network was born. Our original vision was to center the care and flourishing of Black athletes, coaches, support staff, and chaplains. And as our work continues to grow, we are moving beyond just the foundation of our name to advise, support, and come alongside and partner with all social and spiritual identities. Working with allies and co-conspirators like Dr. Stephanie Edwards, our moderator, to recognize that this is a team effort, working in a collective ecosystem in the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has now become a dirty word, but it's such a beautiful gift of pluralism in the landscape of athletics. In my final year of theological studies, I developed what I call the Womanist Sports Ethics of Care. The framework became the foundation for a $15,000 grant project, one that has since grown into the theological backbone of our work. From that project, our approach has expanded and evolved into what we call the Black Sports Ministry Network Sports Ethic of Care. At its core, it's an ethic and a practice that challenges sports leaders to shift their focus from simply developing better athletes and coaches to nurturing the whole person. It's about seeing beyond performance and recognizing that every athlete and coach and staff member brings to them a complex mix of identities, stories, celebrations, and challenges. When we lead with care, we move beyond the scoreboard. We create environments where every person, no matter their background, feels seen, valued, and equipped to thrive long after their season in sports has ended, because it will end at some point. Research consistently shows that when athletes feel supported holistically, they not only perform better, but also develop stronger character, deeper resilience, and a greater sense of belonging. So what does envisioning the future of sports chaplaincy look like? The future is 1, intersectional, inclusive, and innovative. 2, collaborative. 3, global and digital. 4, prophetic. And 5, remembers the past and utilizes ancestral wisdom. So let me explain each point a little bit more. Number 1, intersectional, inclusive, and innovative. Chaplaincy must reflect the diversity of those it serves across race, religion, gender, sexuality, ability, and faith, and those of no faith at all. The reality is that many of our major sports ministries today remain predominantly white and Christian, but the Christian Bible cannot be the only frame of reference for caring in such a beautiful, diverse world. As sports chaplains, we have so much to learn from other spiritualities, traditions, and practices. We can read and draw wisdom from leaders like Gandhi and Thich Nhat Hanh, and others to teach us about peace, presence, and compassion. The challenge and the opportunity is to bring those insights into the context of the sport, to translate them into language and practices that meet athletes and coaches where they are. When we do this, we open a broader, richer landscape of care, an untapped source of inspiration, consciousness, and healing that can reach the deepest part of the athletes' and coaches' humanity. Number 2, collaborative. Collaboration is care, and by nature is a team effort. As I mentioned earlier, spiritual care is often integrated into systems and structures that tend to see it as minimal or even unnecessary until tragedy strikes. Then we need a chaplain on the field. But the future of sports chaplaincy must look different. In the future, I envision spiritual care as not an afterthought, but as a full-time part of the entire ecosystem of sports. I believe we will see a time when sports chaplains are paid full-time, just like any other member of the athletic staff. These chaplains will not only serve athletes and coaches, but also the entire athletic community. The facilities manager, the equipment manager, the sports marketing intern, the IT specialist. Everyone in sports deserves care. This kind of chaplaincy works in true collaboration with athletic trainers, physical therapists, dietitians, sports psychologists, academic advisors, and athletic directors, offering insight, presence, and perspective that might otherwise be overlooked. When we bring all the roles together in partnership, we strengthen the culture of care that sustains the entire team on and off the field. Number 3, global and digital. Sports chaplaincy must step competently into the digital age, engaging in technology in a socially and ethically responsible way. We must meet athletes, coaches where they are, and this includes digital spaces globally. The question we must ask is this: how can spiritual care be delivered digitally in ways that amplify hope, grounding, and community while countering the negative, misleading, and harmful messages that saturate our online spaces today? In sports, this is especially critical when public figures, media, and social media platforms promote what Dr. King might call the triple evils: materialism, racism, and capitalism, which oftentimes exploit and commodify athletes, especially Black athletes. Sports chaplains have an opportunity and a responsibility to offer alternative digital presence, a safe, ethical, and nurturing space where athletes and coaches can connect, reflect, and find support. Used thoughtfully, technology can extend the reach of chaplaincy far beyond the sideline, helping to cultivate resilience, awareness, and care in ways that a physical space can't do alone. Number 4, prophetic. Not every athlete or coach will use their power, privilege, or public platform to advocate for justice or promote fair policies within sports. That's where the sports chaplain plays a critical role. The future of sports chaplaincy is one in which the chaplain exercises moral agency to speak out against harms that affect and impact the well-being of athletes and staff, physically, mentally, and spiritually. In this future, chaplains hold all members of the sports community accountable for their actions, while also being forward-thinking and future-oriented in how athletic life is structured. Chaplains can advocate for cycles of practice, travel, performance, rest, and recovery that don't become mechanical or dehumanizing. They can amplify the need for intentional restoration and more opportunities for joy. In this vision, chaplains also create spaces for meaningful conversations about current events and societal challenges. These discussions encourage athletes and coaches to become more socially aware and how these issues may impact their ability to play. It also encourages them to adopt better listening skills and other interpersonal skills that benefit not only themselves, but their families, teams, and wider communities. And last, number 5, remembers the past and utilizes ancestral wisdom. As sports become increasingly commercialized and digitized, it's imperative for sports chaplains to honor the legacy and history of the game. We must remember the athletes, coaches, and others who have sacrificed so that future generations could play, compete, and be included. Sports is also a powerful tool for development and peace globally. It unites people across cultures as seen in the Olympics, Paralympics, and Special Olympics. This is where ancestral wisdom comes in, guiding us to honor, acknowledge, and appreciate those who've come before. Many aspects of sports, rituals, traditions, and practices are deeply connected to spiritual lineages and collective histories, especially connection to the earth. The principles of teamwork, discipline, and mutual support are not new. They are universal values passed down through generations and generations. As sports chaplains, it is our responsibility to carry this wisdom forward, ensuring that the spirit of collaboration, respect, and care remains at the heart of the game. In conclusion, the future of sports chaplaincy is to say yes to the invitation to reimagine what it means to show up, to love well, and to build a culture of care that outlasts our careers. The future of sports chaplaincy is not simply a spiritual care provider, but is also a human as well. One who understands the social, political, emotional, and embodied realities of sport. And their care must move beyond conversion or creed and toward connection, compassion, and community. Recognizing the good in all of us, even if the coach calls the wrong play, the star player misses a shot at the buzzer, a player is injured, or the athletic trainer switches careers. For many, sports is a pathway in which athletes, coaches, athletic directors, and other staff, and even fans, live out what Howard Thurman calls the sound of the genuine. It is the role of the chaplain to help shepherd and guide that inner self, that inner spirit, and their authentic sound. This is our assignment, our calling, and our future. Thank you.